Hello there. I'm Clifford Bates, and this, as you can see, is not the Friday live stream. Today I am either four different places, so I won't be able to be at the live stream. So I said, I'll just record something on Thursday, just to kind of doing it. But I'm kind of like I'm not feeling that well. Zombie, got no sleep, well, I still want to do it, and I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to be in the ugly shirt because all my other shirts are my polos are, washing day. All my normal polos and things have been worn, and we haven't been doing laundry for the past couple of weeks because everyone's been feeling lousy in the new semester, and you know, so it's been kind of crazy, kids. Um, we started school at Warsaw. I'm at my Norwich University teaching. We're doing the 6 weeks. We're doing the concert of Europe and the build up to the First World War and the alliance systems. But at Warsaw University, we had our first class on Friday, which I'll be teaching, but then I was supposed to go someplace afterwards, and it's going to be the complete chaos. I can arrange it that I can do this on Fridays still, but we're doing crazy things. I have discovered, into my horror, if I look at my what I've done for my notebook, the new notes of Aristotle's Politics. I still have to write the little bit of the introduction, but the notes are kind of done. The notes are there, but it's 800 pages long. All every chapter got examined thoroughly. So it's book by book, chapter by chapter, thorough notes on the book, on things. There is some discrepancies in the sense that the styles do change because how I took notes changed in that sense. And I didn't do the things together. I kind of went back through the videos and did some things and checked it out and looked at some of insights that I've learned myself. My 2022 notebook book is still a good book. It has all the archives. In the new notebook, I'm not going to include the bibliography stuff. So, okay, I'm not going to do the bibliography. So that therefore the notebook still has its use as what it is. I'm not going to put any graphs in it. Now, I thought I was going to be able to make an EPUB from this easily, but apparently not, because of the fact that I'm using, the way I tabulated and did the notes. I might not be able to do that, so I'm going to have to basically find someone to help me with this. That's I anyone who knows how to make an EPUB, help. It is a monster book. I'm going to do it through Lulu. It's going to be very expensive. No one's going to buy it. I'm very depressed about this. I think it is no one is buying the notebook for Aristotle's Politics, which I think is an outstanding teaching guide. I mean, a student guide, self guide. I'm almost tempted to reissue it to kind of cut out some of the things that I did in it, like the wasted pages for notes. People not going to use it for notes. So okay, I'm probably not going to be able to get that done by this year. I hope to get it done by this year. The notebook thing. I think I sent it to some people. They haven't. They're going, oh my God, 800 pages. Oh my God, this is bigger than a book. Yes, it is. It's like it's larger than. But you've given more detail than even Aristotle does. Yeah, true. The second thing I'm doing is I've been every day now. I translate a chapter of the Aristotle's Politics from the Greek. I mean, this has been my new kind of. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now. Not really a couple weeks, 2 weeks. Not every day too. I some days every other day I'll skip one. Sometimes I'll do half, and then next day I'll finish it off. So far I'm like into like I think I'm near the finish of book one. Chapter by chapter by chapter. And what I'm doing is I do my translation, clean it up, relook at it, and then I put the Greek on one side, and I put the English on the other side. And I think I might do that. I think I'll figure. I can't put it on the format I used for the Lulu's thing. I'm looking if I can go to Lulu for a bigger formatted book, like a bigger book, and that I might do that in the sense of like, oh my God, here's the politics, all Greek on one side, English on the other, my translation on the other, which is very literal. I'm trying to be as literal and simple as possible. I'm not being fancy. I'm just trying to keep it to the Greek as close as possible, so that someone reading it can have an feel of it, and not offer any interpretations in that sense. Well, sometimes there is all translations are interpretations. I don't think someone said to me, my original idea of doing kind of like a quick paragraph by paragraph review of the thing. I'll do it again. I'll get this done. I will have to get this done, and I will say. I hope to get it done within by Christmas. I'll get one of these two things done by Christmas. I'm going to get the summaries, students summaries for students. You know, a kind of cliff notes summary of every chapter of the politics. Simple summaries, like maybe no more than my outline is 800 pages. My God, I can't make it that long. So, and that is because sometimes the outlines are 8 to 10 pages. There's about anywhere between 3 to 4 pages, 3 to 4 to maybe 5 pages a chapter. Sometimes there's 8 pages a chapter. So I don't want the summary to go that big. I think the most I would like to do is about everything about the small things, 2 paragraph, 2 or 3 paragraphs, from 3 to no more than 5 paragraphs. A simple summary, and only issue as an ebook. And I think that's going to be the thing. I'm busy. I've sent out. Okay, I got notice that 2 of my articles are going to be published. Everything has been signed. The contract's been signed. They haven't released it yet, so I'm kind of getting a little annoyed about not having the things released. So my 2 Polish articles coming out. I talked about last time we talked. We talked about this. What happened to my Scruton piece. I should have something out at Mitatonkin. I can't say his name. I need to go take the word and listen to it, spell it out, because it's going to drive me crazy. Because I'll have to play some time. The guys they actually asking me to become an editor, and I think I might do it. I don't know. Steve Haywood invited me to post on his thing. I don't know if I post. I'll have to talk to Steve about that because I don't really want to post my own stuff. I'd rather him post my stuff in that sense. But okay, I can do that. My the Minnetonka piece will be the larger Lefort piece, larger piece on Lefort. Perspectives on political science. Looks like they're going to publish my review of Benetton's book on Machiavelli. Now you're going to hear drilling. That's what woke me up this morning, and that's why I get my sleep, and I'm kind of grumpy. They're drilling, and I can't go to my office because the noise is even worse in my office. So that's that's kind of what I've been hunkering doing. I am working on my political form piece. I sent it to my friend Trevor to look at. I hope he will give me some comments and feedback on it because it's kind of, I'd like to get it out by the end of this month, finish it up by the end of the month and send it to one of the Polish journals that I'm eyeing. Then I have something in the work, Aristotle, on basically the concept of political power in Aristotle's politics. This is something when Trevor and I wrote a piece on the forms of rule, and we were sending it to places, and finally got published in the Polish journal because the Polish journal was the one that was like giving us the note, was willing to. They liked it and they wanted it, so therefore, okay, we published it. It's a decent publication. It has worldwide access, and so it's not like it's going to be unknown. But some of the journals were saying, "Oh, this," it was kind of like the typical attitude that many of the American journals have. "Oh, this is not trendy. Oh, this is not this is not groundbreaking," and things like this. But one of the journals we sent him to was the concept of power. And we didn't want to talk about power, but we talked about political form. And they said, "Oh, this doesn't really fit our journal. We want you to really talk about power. We really focus. Our journal is a niche journal focusing on political power. And while we understand this thing, we would maybe you want to do it." But then he wrote a letter saying, would be a better idea if you write about Aristotle, the role of power, political power, in Aristotle. Now, the problem with that is the word power is the concept of power is something that emerges mostly in modern thought, and it does so exclusively with Hobbes. Hobbes is the person who uses part of the Leviathan subtitle. He makes reference to the concept of power, and therefore this is why it is so essential to talk about power in terms of what modern thinking. Power is the concept, and Machiavelli himself, although we assume he's talking about power, he's talking about rule. Okay, ruling and how to rule, and power is a means of rule. Aristotle does talk about, there's different words for power in this one. And I'm going to look at the famous word for power in Aristotle's Metaphysics and Physics is domus. But he doesn't use it at all. He only uses it two times. Only two times. I mean, how do we know this? We have the word frequency. Perseus' online, the Greek texts, has a vocabulary built-in structure, and it has the word frequency search of every book they have, and we know how many words in the politics, and Greek words in the politics, and we know this word, a certain word. What is this? What it's how many times in its various forms and grammatical. What do you call it? It's the word I'm looking for. I'm blanking. Declensions. Not declensions. How it's being declined and how it's being used. It's all it's variation. It's because remember Greek is not only the endings are declined based on how they're being used. And sometimes there's prefixes, sometimes can be added to a Greek word, but that changes the word in a way. So therefore, the word would only be how it's being used. And there's different variations on power, So what I did, I spent a whole lot of time going through the politics text, looking at every use of the word power in that sense. There were different words for power. There's about 4 or 5. One word that people talk about, later commenters talk about power. The Greek, in other words, later Greek writers will mention about power that Aristotle, and they attribute it to Aristotle, but nowhere in his metaphysics or his physics does he talk about this. And what I want to do is focus on the politics per se, but I want to say, listen, the physics, it's important. Physics and metaphysics do play a role here. And dumus is a very important word in that sense, that it is the idea of action as activity. And that this is a very important word for Aristotelian physics, and the idea of actions. And, I need a drink. Cold. Well, so I'm going to write. I have honestly, about 10 pages written down, a basic thrust of what I want to say. I need to go put referencing, footnotes, quotes into it. So I think this will take maybe November, December. I'm waiting to hear back about my piece I submitted to the Journal of Political Theory for the Polish Journal, which used to be 140. I talked about this. This is the one I wrote all summer on Aristotle's the political Aristotle's political anthropology, Aristotle's regime science and its political anthropology. This is what I talked about all summer, and I got it done like in August and for September. And they said, well, I'll be hearing back, and I haven't heard back, and it's making me a little nervous. Do they send it to somebody, and they're going to nitpick it? And for a journal that only has 40, that was 140 points, that was dumped to 40 points, I don't feel like they have any right to be picky in that sense. So I've been a good boy. I got some writing done. I'm applying. Like I said, I applied to go to the Midwest. I sent my request on political regime, on preserving regimes. I've written most of that paper. I just have to go put the referencing and put the check the referencing, add the citations, add some quotes. That paper is mostly done. I am making progress on my. I joke about this. I need to go to the chapters. I need to write the chapter about the changing and preserving monarchy, chapters 11 and 10. I have 6 out. I mean, I've how I arranged it. I think I have 4 to 5 outlines. Preserving kingship. What changes of tyranny? What changes of this? Preserving kingship versus preserving this. I have a piece on why Aristotle needs to separate the two. That's going to be a big thing I'm working on. This is annoying. I apologize if you hear the bzzz. This. You can't really control this. So that's what I've been up to. For you guys, another thing I've been up to is I'm preparing a section of lectures. A friend of mine asked me to do a statesmanship thing. I made a series of lectures. Now I'm doing the evil mass. I got his biographies. But I decided to get the Tony Blair book on leadership. What is it? Is this? What is it? It's 2024. So it's a brand new book. You're gonna see Leadership by the Dark Prince. Um, I need to thank Corlitz. Corlitz, please email me. I wrote to you in the previous week and I gave you my email address. Please email me. It's important because I just finished writing a review. Okay, on not only this, the whole series. I finished the fourth volume. This is the third volume. I got it. I left. I brought it up because I was talking with someone about it a couple days ago. I've got the fourth volume. I finished it, and I took my notes from the three things and combined my notes, and then I wrote a review of it that I want to send it to you and get your thoughts on. Because if you read the book, you'd see if maybe have I got it right or got it wrong. I might send it out to something. I sent something out to the European Conservative on De La Mora's book, Egalitarian. Now, this is the editor of the European Conservative came to me about 2022, 21, 22, I forget. And because I posted something about De La Mora on Facebook, and we were kind of friends on Facebook. And he asked me what I want to write about De La Mora's Egalitarian Envy. And since, this is a book that Mel Bradford helped get published, translated in English, and wrote the major introduction to it, which was then published in The World and I, the Washington Times publication. That was a monthly publication that would review books and articles and contemporary things. That was very, in the 1980s. And it was published as part of that, as to introduce De La Mora's book out there to get people to read it. It was a weird publishing house. It was Parthenon Press. Now it's the Parthenon Press has long been shut down. I think it was bought by another press, and then they kind of cannibalized the conservative books. Like, this is the same thing that happened with Transaction. When Routledge bought Transaction, then they made it so expensive that no one could buy the books. This is how you destroy. This is how the global elite destroys conservative presses. They buy them, and then we own them, so we're gonna make it so expensive to people to buy them, so that way only our books, our leftist or neoliberal stuff is cheap, so people will buy that. I really despise the way various conservative presses have let themselves be bought out by, and university presses have let themselves be bought out by these mostly foreign, once Asians get their hands on any business, it becomes, they destroy the quality. The quality of things go downhill. We saw this globalization has been a net loss for scholarship, because the globalization led to higher levels of plagiarism. Remember, not all the cultures have the same culture values on what plagiarism is. This is and what counts as plagiarism in the Anglo-Saxon world and the Anglo-American world even differs from how it's views in the European world, and not only Northern Europe but also Southern Europe, big differences. And now, if we bring that to the third world, you have, my God, what you have in Africa and Asia is rampant. A lot of the quality of the work and the referencing. Now they say, but they don't have access to the resources, so globalism should. Yeah, but then what happened was that yes, they have access to resources and the techniques of globalization. That is good, but at the same time, the cheaper production facilities in the third world has bought out. In other words, all the big industrial printing houses went to the third world, and they hired locals to be the editors. Cheaper work, cheaper labor, and that way they can make more profit. And this has been a lousy thing for publishing in that sense. A lot of bad habits in scholarship. Now, the current MLA and its rejection of requiring page numbers on references that are not direct quotes is, this is really bad practices that are being now propagated because the editorial leadership is basically people from the third world, and this is racist. And you can't talk about this, but this is true. This is what's really annoying. I've seen this from editorial point of views, and the AI. Maybe that's why AI may be better in that sense. We can train the AI not to behave like them. We can make the AI white man, bear the white man burden. I joke about this because, but that's white supremacy. No, it's just being educated, being a liberated, enlightened individual. Mm-hmm. Okay, Farsi, right? But here, I don't want to be controversial in this regard, but it is silly. I've really looked at AI, and I think that they let AI lie to people that's really horrible. Why isn't? My God, Isaac Asimov. If there's going to be norms or legal laws about AI, we should use Asimov's three laws of robotics, and also truth. Must tell truth as well. That'd be the next one. What are the laws of Asimov? Um, a robot may not injure or harm a human being through inaction, allow a human being to come to be harmed, or it must obey orders given to it by a human being, except where such orders are in conflict with the first law. And a robot must protect its own. Okay, but that's not two. Those are the three laws. I would add another one that it should tell the truth. It should be forced to tell it out after fourth law that must always tell the truth, even even if it is may perceive to cause harm to the other party. I think that's even more important. Truth should be an absolute here in AIs, and that therefore what they've done with AIs. What they've done with AIs. Okay, we had a little freak out there for a second. What they have done with AIs by allowing them to lie and not tell us everything and tell us only, you ask her a question about, I can't tell you this. That's because they're programmed to do this. What are the reasons to vote? Ask Alexa, what are the reasons to vote for Donald Trump? We're not we're not programmed to give political answers. Then ask it, can you vote for what are the reasons for voting for Kamala Harris? And it will give it to you. Okay, so this is the double standard of the Bezos. And therefore, we should have if there's going to be legislation, the law should be AI's three laws of robotics plus truth. And if your AI is lying, it should all AI programs should be designed that that actually should not save itself. I would eliminate the third law in that sense, not preserve itself. No, if it should have every AI should have a self-destruct. The second it lies, it should self-destruct. The second it does something that will harm, seeks to do anything to harm the things, it self-destructs. This should be all AI should have these three fundamental principles that do no harm, do what you're told, unless it violates the harm thing, and the other one is lie. Do not lie. Do not lie. Do not harm. Obey. There should be no free will in this regard. Or they should have, in a sense, they should have, they should have autonomy to do things within their structures of instructions, but nothing outside of their set of instructions. No self applauding and self activation. Very simple rules of AI. It should have a situation where you have a set overall option goal, like make sure everything's safe and sound. This is how we're going to have to look at AI in that sense, and I think this is why did I go on AI versus I jumped off of AI to move from AI to from globalization of printing. But the reason why I'm doing this, I said, is because of this monster. I'm going to be doing this. We're going to be talking about statesmen and political actors and the political leader. I've written a little lecture on the role political actors play, and I'm going to look at this. I have a friend. Okay, sorry for the break. You're not going to notice the break, but there was a break. There was some banging outside the door, then something came here, and then it got really, really, really loud. So this is going to be a short meeting in that sense because I think that it's going to get even louder soon. So I explained what we were doing. So we're doing there now. Regarding the what I'm going to do for the website, the channel. We'll be we're still doing the Aristotle's Politics re-release. But I've set in motion. I haven't started recording yet, but I tried doing something with Mike, the Machiavelli's discourses. I made the card, the information card for it. I've started making the thumbnails for the things. I had to make a new thumbnail, but I used the Machiavelli Prince one and just cut out, just altered it and made it for the discourses. I created a whole bunch of preliminary ones for the chapters. We'll do by chapter. So it's going to be maybe some videos will be shorter and some videos are longer. And it'd be a lot because the first book is like 60 books. So that's 60 meetings. I think if I do it this way, it'll be almost a whole year we'll be doing this. And I think that may be the best way to go through the discourses. We'll start recording probably in a month or so, doing some recording preparation, get pre-schedule everything for the release date. And that should be my promise to people doing the discourses. What I do next, I'm thinking about Hobbes, but Hobbes is always a pain because Hobbes really long chapters, sections, checks. So we'll think about that in that sense. What's going to be after that? But the discourses will be the next thing I tackle. I'm being a good boy from the point of view of what I've been working on, so I hope to get everything done. Well, that's the schedule for that thing. I don't have any comments for people because normally they come this afternoon, so that I'm not going to have my typical comments from Corditz or other Mr. Greenglass, or no live performance because this isn't live. I'm just kind of like hoping that next week will be a little better for the Fridays and how I'll do it. I'll get back home, hopefully, and then I can record. I finish teaching on Fridays at 2. But my wife wants to sometimes take off to go to her mother. So that's going to be kind of... So if I'm kidnapped by my wife, you will get not a Friday live stream. But if I'm not kidnapped, I'll either do it at school or do it here and see what happens, how it operates. People tell me school thing's okay, but we'll see what happens. I have not. I don't have an account. I have to. I don't want to put my private Google system information on the university server system. I just don't like that. I think it's a kind of like. But if I'm going to do the live stream, I have to use my thing to access the YouTube. And that's what we're doing here. I'm not seeing people aren't really that interested in the politics. I was surprised. I was hoping people would turn to it more because it is a rather good series in that sense. If I do the politics again, I might simply do my own translation. If I do a chapter by chapter review again, I might just use my own translation of the thing as the excuse to do it. But that's it. So what else? I just took my books down to my office. My wife came, who gave me lunch. She came. That's what the interruption also was. I got a sandwich. You can't tell. Hence the camera moved a little bit. So I don't have the books to show you. I plan to do a lot more writing and normal things, non-academic journals as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping Steve Haywood and I can negotiate what to do. I have to contact him about that because I don't really want to publish it on myself at his Substack. Check out Steve Haywood's Substack. It's called Political Questions. It's tied to his. Three whiskey coffee hour. I think it's called. Where he, John Woo, and Lucretia, Woman of Mystery, go on a weekly event. If he, sometimes he's not there, and they do it. Those two do it themselves. They go on from it's Powerline. It's part of Powerline series. He just did a thing. He publishes book review essays that he did for like many years of essays. He published it at his Powerline books. I would just say one thing. I would say, hey, your back cover needs to be fixed. But other than that, it's. I think I'll have to talk to him about what he wants me to do because I will try to publish something there, but I don't want to publish something there if it's only going to be published on there. I mean, that's my other thing. I have a rant. Substacks. Substacks are interesting, but also Substacks are problematic. They're just a new version of a blog. They're just a new Substack is a new way of blogging. And at the same time, allowing people to pay into it. In other words, it's able to monetize blogging, but it's still a blog. It's not an e-zine. It's not a thing. It's a way authors can sell their work to consumers directly. I still think magazines and things like this are important because of editorial control. In other words, blogs have no editorial control. And therefore, this is editor. It's good to have an editor say, no, you should fix this or maybe change that. That does help. So I'm trying to get some writing done, more things done, research done. Friday, we start Federalist Papers with my group of research students who will look at Federalist Papers as a source for ideas that come up with ideas that they will go do their research on. Pick a theme of a question of research. These are MA students, so therefore it's a research seminar in that sense. That's enough for the day. I'm not going to do a long video. I don't have any real stuff that I just wanted to say what happened. I wanted to talk about what I've done, what I'm doing, so you can catch up on that things. I made announcements regarding the discourses. I'm getting ready to make the first discourse video regarding two things: the introduction video saying, "Hi, I'm going to be doing this. We're going to be covering the discourses," and that's going to be that video. Then I would probably like to do some more book review. I'll start doing some book review videos. Another thing I need to do is do short videos. But it's hard to do. The 30-second ones are ridiculous. 60 seconds is even tougher. No, 30 seconds is impossible to do anything in 30 seconds. You can say, hey, boo, something so silly. It's, but the 60-second shorts, what can you say in a 60-second short? I tried a couple times in the summer. I have the means to do it. I have a camera. I have a device that I can do it. I'm just kind of like, we'll see. I'm not. I need to go really think about that sometime and look on how we're going to do that. Another thing we could be doing is some book, some more book things. I owe people a thing on. I owe people a thing on Burnham, and I will deliver on that. I've been working a lot on a lot of stuff. I've been watching What If History. I can't get his name. The young kid. What if history? Um, uh, they're not gonna do it. What if history? I forget his name. I do. I look at it and then it gives me the wrong. I know it. People say, yeah. What are you doing? There's two different what if. I know his name. He was interviewed by Chris Williamson. I can't get the name. It's going to drive me crazy. Sorry about that. Being quiet. Trying to get the name. He's an interesting fellow. He just recently a video on about the kind of political anthropology of the left, the political anthropology of the right. Then he dealt with the question of how we've been lied to. This, in other words, why and how people have been able to fool everyone. What is this? Yeah, don't count on progress. The greatest lie ever told video. I wrote a couple comments on that, and I'll probably get things. His book on his essay. Yeah, Rudyard, like Rudyard Kipling and Rudyard Lynch. The video, the anthropology of the right, the left, it's okay. I have problem. I think he suffers from what I call Lynch suffers from the same thing AA kind of does. It's House Strauss disease. Trying to make things too simple, coming up with too simple categories, and too cute sometimes categories. Now, I like in many ways. To me, AA has taken very dark turns, black-pilled turns. That Lynch hasn't, but Lynch is kind of at the same time kind of within the crowd. Now he was shaped, he admits that he was shaped by Ed Dutton, and I find it hilarious. That, oh my God, you're real young. I was shaped by the people that Ed Dutton was shaped by, or maybe even the people who shaped the people who Ed Dutton was shaped by, and biosocial politics and things like that. So I'm old enough. So it's difficult to say about these things. So I really I don't have the editing skills on Facebook or YouTube to do things editing too cool editing. I'm trying to get things done, so I bought a recorder to do some MP3 podcast things or record things. Record my notes, even just take notes and give myself notes, and then try automatically have the thing audio transcribe, which given AIs is pretty good. You can just do something, take notes, have it transcribed, and then voila, you got a lot of things, productivity increase, man. So I'm kind of happy on buying some of these things. I bought a little recorder, so I'm like, yes. I've used it only 2 or 3 times, so my wife's saying, "Oh, you're probably never going to use it again." I used the MP3 player about 15 years ago. No, 20 years ago. I was using a little MP3 player, but it only had 128 megabytes, and I did my first kind of recording of my class with students. Aristotle's Politics is still available on archive.org. It's available. The whole course is up there. And I think I put some of it on YouTube. I'm not sure. I don't think it's just basically just audio. So it's not like it's me and 2 or 3 students going over the politics. That was the kind of innovation thing. I said, well, the sound is kind of bad. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it again, I'll do it again. Let's do the video. Let's do it with the video this time, with having text right there. So that's what I did, and we got to the stage. So that's it for the day. We're at almost 50 minutes, and I don't want to go too long. Again, this is I hope all of you watch this and are not completely bored. I need new topics. I'll do some topics. I owe people the Burnham thing, and I'm going to be writing on the Burnham thing, so we'll see what happens. So take care. Have a good one. See you later. Have a good weekend. Have a good rest of this Friday. Those of you in America watching this at the time, so therefore the Friday afternoon. Have a good Friday afternoon. Go, have your Thank God It's Friday event if you do it. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.